Listen, man. Listen, man. Listen, man. Listen. We talking practice.
Hey, this is Matthew Harvey here with the 12 o'clock siren, recording live at the 903 Broadband Studios at the Cowboy Corner on the southeast side of the downtown Leonard Square. On my left hand is James Leonard Facebook group Hartley.
Man, there's been some good stuff on there lately.
Whoa.
Some dude lost his peacock.
Peacock has gone on the loose.
It has.
What else has gone on in there lately?
I think even the admin, our very own Christy Prather, she had to get on there and go, guys, y'all gotta stop.
Calm down.
Yeah, like you gotta stop.
Class of 2020 alum right there. Christy.
2000.
That's
You said
2001?
You said 2020.
Oh, God. I don't know. I just had 2 sips of beer.
Yeah, cut off.
Sorry.
You're cut off.
It's noon.
It is noon. Man, talk about, you just said this before we started, having those guys on, and we were doing it exactly 20 years
to the minute
where things were happening.
Yeah.
And I can't believe it's been 20 years in some way.
It has, yeah, it seems like 20 years. It's been a long time.
Well,
but it also doesn't seem that long ago.
Well, because why it doesn't seem that long ago is how pervasive it still is in our cultural, like, what do you call that? The cultural zeitgeist,
Yep.
like the
your subconscious,
the
maybe.
cultural conscience. It's still so pervasive. All the TSA policies, when you fly on an airplane, all those things
they're
that come
now
along
accepted
with it.
as normal.
Yeah,
parts of your day.
And I hate to politicize this, but you have to politicize it a little bit because it changed things. But all of the Patriot Act stuff that we now accept as like for the greater good or whatever, and how much they've invaded your privacy over it. And, it's just, I don't know, man. It's it definitely, like I said in the episode, it's definitely a watershed moment where our country, the route of our country changed.
But you're 20 years later, and you've got COVID, which is basically 9/11 20 years later.
Yeah.
In the respect of that, it is changing the way that we legislate, that we move, that we operate, that society works.
And you can
just the same way as 9/11 did.
Somebody listening to this can roll their eyes if they want, but one could say that was a terrorist attack too.
Absolutely.
A much more successful one.
Yeah, and nobody is getting blamed.
Matter of fact, when you blame the people for it, you get called a racist.
Yeah, that's true.
So.
But that one event changed law, obviously, like you said, brought in the Patriot Act, which changed law and actually took away our freedoms at the end of the day. Some of that needed to be, some of those things needed to be looked into. Information agencies sharing information with each other, which seems obvious and glaring. But apparently that wouldn't be being done before 9/11, which that's good, obviously. But
right.
Listening to all of our conversations and
right.
It's sketchy. You might argue that what's the famous quote? Security versus liberty.
Yeah, if you trade liberty for security, you deserve neither.
Yeah.
I
mean, it's a fine line, isn't it?
It is. What's interesting too is somebody like Edward Snowden, right? I look at that dude as like a patriot, but that's a litmus test for a lot of people. Like, I say, how do you feel about Edward Snowden? Or somebody asked me that. I'm like, well, I think he's a patriot because he was letting know that our government was really encroaching on our liberties, and some people scoff at that and they're like, oh, he's a traitor.
Having listened to him, I can't come to any conclusion other than he was doing what he thought was best for everybody.
Yeah.
In citizen wise, not the government.
No, not the government.
And I respect that.
Yeah. I mean, Edward Snowden kind of gets lumped in with like Bradley, Chelsea Manning, Julian Assange and stuff, and I have nuanced opinions about those people, but I'm pretty like steadfast that Snowden is he's okay in my book.
Yeah, he doesn't seem malicious or like he was coming from a place of ill intent.
I'll put it this way: if I worked for the NSA, me, James Hartley of the 12 o'clock siren, worked for the NSA, and I saw that our government was massively encroaching upon our liberties, I would have done the exact same thing.
2 years earlier.
Yes.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
But yeah, if you're listening, Edward, thanks for speaking up and
exactly.
blowing a whistle.
You got two fans of Leonard anyway.
And if you support whistleblowers, screw you for not supporting the whistleblower.
The whistleblower.
You know?
Yeah.
Because that's the other thing. Like, oh, we whistleblower. We support, always believe the whistleblower.
Yeah. Well, where's your Edward Snowden GoFundMe?
Yeah, it's non-existent.
Anyway, yeah, it's been a wild 20 years, man. It seems to only be getting more off the rails.
Yeah, now it's we're back to sadly the Taliban ruling that country again.
Yes, boy, that was rough. I guess a lot of stuff's happened since we podcasted last.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, the whole Afghanistan thing has gone wild.
What I like about I use that term, and what's interesting about the Afghanistan thing is the gaslighting that happens. They're like, well, it's time for us to leave. Yes, nobody is arguing that it's time for us to leave.
Yeah, we're being told what everybody agrees with.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, of course, we all want to get out of there, but we don't want them to be in control again. And the fashion was pathetic.
Yeah, and the whole, like, we probably shouldn't have left them billions of rounds and money and weapons and
anything they can sell to our adversaries.
Yeah, or give. Because, I mean, I saw a video the other day. They were moving stuff on semis and it was headed over to Iran. You know?
I was thinking about that the other day. Like, if all this equipment and weaponry has been left behind, we have to have an idea of where it is.
Yes.
So that should be pretty visible from satellite imagery, right?
Yeah.
Can you not just, if any of this moves, it's getting exploded?
Yeah. Well,
can you not do that? Is that not within our, even having moved out, can we not do that from a satellite, or not a satellite, but a satellite place or nearby base?
What was left of my optimism, right, said, you know what, they might be leaving some of this stuff to pull the old IED trick like that's been pulled on us.
Exactly.
And we happen to know where the 5 leaders are. They're all in one building right now.
Yeah.
You know?
And they still have a bounty.
No, but you know who they decided to kill instead? A family of 4. Because there was an explosion. We found the people that were no, it was a family of 4. We killed a family of 4 for clout, so we didn't look terrible, but now we just look worse.
Yeah,
it was so incompetent, It's incompetence that borders on just this word gets thrown around a lot, but just evil. Like, it's just evil. You know, the gross disregard for human life and suffering is just evil.
Spinning of stories and lack of
narratives and
lack of transparency.
It is, and there used to be a time, look, Jocko Willink said it best when he got up, and he's like, this is what should have happened, right?
And that was well said.
Yeah, and he was like, here's the mistakes that were made. That's on me. Here's how we're going to mitigate it. You know? Perfect. Great. Well, I'll give you some room, but you got to own it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, the tweet, look, everybody listening knows where I stand. I did not vote for Trump. I voted for the Libertarian candidate, right? Shame on me, proud to be me, whatever y'all think about that. But everything they told you about Trump, Biden turned out to be.
Yeah, so far.
Yep. You know, how's that student loan
Except
cancellation
for World
going?
War III, which we are could happen at any time.
Might be a little closer than we were.
Could happen at any time.
Yeah.
Do you watch Greg Gutfeld by chance?
I don't as much. I cut the cord.
Yeah.
So
understandable.
You know, I don't.
I've been following his career for a long time.
He's hilarious and very smart.
He is one of the best writers and as far, in my opinion, one of the best political pundits on TV. He says things I don't hear anybody else say, and that's what I like about him. But he just interviewed Trump, 1-to-1 interview, and it has gone awesome. I've tagged you in a few videos. I don't know if you've seen them, but my Lord, he's got a great interview style. And started off the one interview by saying, remember how much I hated you, to Donald Trump.
Yeah, good.
And he's like, yeah, I do. I remember that. Now you don't.
Yeah.
He's like, no, I don't, because I realized that it wasn't the words that I should pay attention to. It's your actions.
So I'm not going to out this person because now doing that has consequences. But this person and several I've talked to privately on social media said I would take Donald Trump back in a heartbeat, and they were not Trump voters. Right. They voted for the other guy. Right. You know, so.
Yep. It's weak.
It is weak, man. It's I'm at the point where I don't understand how, like, I get it. You're allowed to like Biden. You're allowed to like Trump. You're allowed to like whoever you want. But how it clouds your judgment with just automatically thinking that everyone has your best interest at heart. Yeah. And, like, it's not that way, man. Yeah. It's not that way. They want to tax you. They want to control. Public service is no longer public service. They don't think we are not what's the word? They don't think we are deserving of good leadership. That we are beneath them, and it's time to wash it all down, man. Start over.
Did you see the George Stephanopoulos interview with Joe Biden?
I saw
a few days after the fall of Kabul.
That's 4 or 5 days ago, man.
Right.
Yeah.
So I was just theoretically thinking out loud in my mind. What if on September 15th, Matt Lauer's interviewing George Bush?
Right.
He's like, dude, that was 4 days ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's not what you say.
No.
First off, as a president.
And while Stephanopoulos is a creep anyway, but
agreed.
And he didn't completely softball it, but like, can we please keep somebody on task and on point and ask the hard questions and make them uncomfortable? Can we please do that? Can journalists do that? No, not anymore.
I thought that's what people love to see is politicians getting uncomfortable and having to either lie or blatantly lie or tell the truth.
Well, here's probably the most partisan thing I'm going to say right now is the media, barring few exceptions, the national mainstream media is now just the propaganda arm of the Democratic Party. So, now when you watch Stephanopoulos interview him, you know what you're getting. Yeah. You're getting a manufactured.
The same questions that Biden's getting them from.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
and
can we have one journalist that says, hey, sir, you've now said, Mr. President, you've now said they tell me I need to leave here. They tell me I can't ask questions. Who's they?
That's a good question.
Can you please just tell me? I mean, it might be his PR team. It might be the Illuminati, lizard people, whoever, whatever. But can you please just ask the question?
What if they is one person?
Yeah. It's Jill. Maybe it's Jill,
What if it's a they, them?
Yeah.
I mean, it could be you're thinking they. You're thinking they is like a bunch of people.
Cabal of evil people.
It's just one person.
No, it's that TikToker dude.
Hey, Queen.
Yeah.
Calling them royalty names.
Yeah. They. Oh, yeah, Shannon. Well, you said they. Yeah, that's their chosen pronoun. Oh,
I get it.
Yeah, whatever.
They've prepared for me. It's all getting clear now.
It's getting what?
What?
What'd you say?
Let's be clear.
Oh, okay.
It's getting clear.
Okay. I thought you said something else.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
No, it's clearing up.
Sorry, things got a bit spicy here.
Get the vaccine.
I got to.
I'm just whispering it.
I know it. I got.
Get the vaccine, folks.
Yeah. Man, okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're military. You got to get it now.
I got to get it. But let me back up for a second. And y'all probably did not. If you're listening to the recap, all 19 of you, I'm not sure that you wanted to listen to me and Matthew pontificate on politics, but I'm going to pontificate just a bit more.
It's 9/11, and there's a lot of stuff that resulted from it. And
I am so tired of the virtue signaling that if you don't want the vaccine or you have some issue with masks or something, that you are killing grandma. And let me tell you, that is what, look, I went through the Joint Psychological Operations course, right? It was 1 week. I'm not saying I'm an expert, but that's an op. That is an operation. The more the media and the Twitter blue checks and the government says, you're killing grandma, it doesn't matter if the science says it's not. It doesn't matter if we use our rational thought. The message is out there. They are selling fear as a virtue. Listen, folks, I really think you should get the vaccine, especially if you're in one of those you have an immune, compromised. I don't think the vaccine's the big, what's the Christian thing? The mark of the beast or something, just go get it if you want to, or don't if you don't.
We heard somebody talking the other day that said, but call it what it is, and it's not a vaccine if it's not for life. I meant to look up the definition before I really got into this.
So I think we're splitting hairs because the way I look at that, right, like let's just take all the stuff out of it. A vaccine is supposed to help protect you from disease. Yeah. So that's theoretically the point of this, right? So I'm fine with calling it a vaccine. However, if we're talking semantics, it's not done like every other vaccine has been done.
There's a difference between this and because a vaccine, you would assume that you would not be susceptible to the disease anymore, right?
Yeah.
Or virus.
But now there's the Delta variant, right? Supposedly, whatever,
There's a Mu variant. Have you heard that? MU?
No.
Yeah, I just saw it
They're just gonna
on
keep
local
that-
news here.
Keep that
last
fear
week.
train pumping, aren't they?
Just introduce it, like they kind of like the Delta virus, because that was just like slid into there. Like it's happening some places,
Yeah.
almost as if it's a back pocket thing. And I'm not saying anything conspiracies.
No,
like I
sure.
mean, this is
Yeah.
conspiracy rich.
Yeah,
This whole situation
100%.
is conspiracy rich,
Look.
and that's why we're having this debate and not a factual one.
Yes. Yes. Look, there is a disease out there killing people. There is a virus out there killing people. We know people affected by it. I've personally known people that have died from it. It is something to take serious.
Yep.
But the level of hysteria and where we've gone as a country of blaming certain groups of people and it's just insane to me. And like, look, if you see me walking down the street without a mask on and you feel the need to yell at me about it, you're a terrible person.
Yeah.
You're a terrible person, you know? And the next person that says like that I don't know, they're like, well, have you got the vaccination? I'm going to start asking them if they have their HIV. Like, are we asking people like medical questions now?
Mm-hmm.
Like, come on.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like when's the last time you got your annual pap smear, lady? You know, like can we get personal?
Right.
Jesus.
I had a person lean in to talk to me with a mask on. I was like, I don't think you understand how this works.
No, yeah. The max.
You're not supposed to get in my 6-foot area with even with your mask on.
Yeah.
Like,
well, because it's all look. The science has shown N95 masks.
3 feet now.
Well, yeah. The science has shown that N95 masks, when properly worn and properly fitted, work very well. Right. The surgical and cloth masks, especially those stupid like macrame masks that people wear, they don't work at all. I mean, I shouldn't say they don't work at all. They work to a degree.
Yeah.
But like, imagine a chain link fence, and you pick up a hand of gravel and you throw the gravel at the chain link fence. Some of it's going to get through. Some of it's going to get knocked down. That's like the surgical mask. So stay 6 feet away from me. Don't go out if you're symptomatic. If you're not symptomatic, you're not spreading it. We know this now. We know it doesn't spread outdoors very well. But shut all the outdoor dining down. I mean, it's just insane what's happening. I hate it. I hate it.
It's awful.
Ugh. Anyway.
And it is a control tool.
It is a control.
At the end of the day, that's how the government, because our government's using it different than other governments.
Yes.
If you pay attention.
Well,
like,
and if you
these
notice,
things aren't happening everywhere in the world.
No, and if
To
you
a degree
notice,
they are.
our government doesn't follow any of their own rules,
Yeah. Which
so
is interesting.
which should make you go, okay. You know, like, again, it's a dangerous thing. Take precautions. But when, the Speaker of the House is having parties and the only people made to wear masks are the black help,
Yeah.
maybe rethink that.
Yeah.
Like, geez, Democrats are racist. I hate all of them. Sorry. Kidding.
Ooh.
I'm sorry. I'm getting mad. Angry.
All right. Speaking of racists, Blues Clues.
Is he racist now?
Steve is back.
No, Steve is an operator, is what Steve is.
You reckon?
He's a pipe hitter, man.
Have you been following this story?
Yeah, dude. He left right before 9/11 kicked off. Or no, excuse me. 9/11 had happened. He left right before we invaded Afghanistan. And then right after we pulled out, he resurfaces.
Yeah.
So he's been running ops over there, dude.
Yep.
That's
too
coincidental.
coincidental. Thank you. Were you familiar with Blues Clues before? Like when he left, did you know he was off the show?
Yeah.
Oh, you were aware of this story? I had no idea.
I've got kids.
So they watched it?
Yeah, they watched the second iteration, because there was like another guy.
Gotcha.
Whatever. So.
But from what I understand, he was like, "Hey guys, I'm going off. I'm out of here." And he brought in his brother.
I don't know if I don't know
this
that
was
much
told
about
to
it.
me last night.
Okay.
He brought in his brother, and then he was just gone.
Yeah, I mean,
So all these Blues Clues followers back in the day that were kids were left with this, huge cliffhanger of what happened to Steve.
Yeah.
So I guess it was a big deal. Reading a lot of the comments, like,
Yeah.
this is the closure I never knew I needed.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
what happened to Steve. I thought it was funny. I mean, I don't have any sort of emotional connection to it.
Of course not. Yeah.
Other than hearing it every once in a while before school.
Well, and the whole let's turn him into like a special operator thing is kind of funny too.
That's hilarious. Yeah, it's like Mr. Rogers with sleeve tats.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Like I posted
Like
that picture on Facebook of him. He had like a plate carrier and like Special Forces tab and Ranger tab and stuff. And
Mustache.
Yeah. Well, so have you seen Sicario? Have you seen the movie?
I haven't.
there's a guy on there that's like a CIA agent, and he's based in El Paso, and that's
him.
That's him.
Okay.
Like, and they're saying, he certainly looks like.
Gotcha.
Have you seen these two guys in the same room?
He needs to grow his mustache out then.
He does. He does. Yeah.
Put it to bed once and for all.
Yeah. Man, wild things happening. Like we said, 20th anniversary of 9/11, all this COVID stuff, my political rantings.
I could talk to pilots for all day long. I think.
Really.
They've got some stories. Even some of the ones that we didn't share in the recording beforehand are great stuff. I mean, once you get them all going, then usually one story leads to another. And that's the best kind of conversation to get to.
I really like to, I brought up a couple of them, but I really love talking to the pilots who are civilian, like, airline pilots, but also serve in the Guard. Because the way they switch between their airline stories to dropping bombs on terrorists back to airline stories, you're like, man, it's crazy.
Yeah. It's like talking to RCQ, and you got to ask him what decade he's talking about. You dropping bombs? Was this from a commercial flight?
Yeah. Or are you killing terrorists?
On the way to Orlando from Chicago?
Yeah. Well, they say putting warheads on foreheads.
I like that.
Yeah. So, man, I really want to get my pilot's license too. I don't want to be an airline pilot like those guys. That's a lot of work and a lot of, I've already got my other career going, but I do want to pursue it recreationally.
Yeah.
They were not about it though.
No.
They're like,
They've 30,000 hours almost.
Yeah, they're done.
You're probably worn out on it.
They're done. I meant to ask your dad though if he enjoyed the Navajo ride in Alaska. It looked like he did.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Yeah. I want to say the pilot made him uncomfortable.
Oh, really?
Like flying low and like 500 feet off the mountains.
Sure, but that's that pilot's everyday life.
Yeah.
Like your dad's been living that very super NTSB safety.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's a different world up there.
It is a different world. So not a lot of oversight up there.
I imagine not. So they're flying over the Denali Mountains and glaciers and landing on frozen this and that.
Yeah. Well, I bet it's like I read an article or a blog post. A former Navy SEAL who loved jumping. He was he loved free fall, and he doesn't do it anymore because of how, compared to military jumping, when you go to a civilian drop zone, it's like the Wild West. Like there's no jump master making sure all your stuff's right. He's like, oh, it's not safe enough.
Yeah.
Which makes me think, because that's all I've ever done, the civilian side.
Right. Right.
So
they had an issue out there at Spaceland.
did they?
Yeah. Did you hear about that?
Oh,
3
no.
weeks ago.
Dude bounced, but lived though.
He's in a wheelchair. He wasn't. He jumped out. Well, he rolled off, I guess, out of the plane.
Oh,
he was in a wheelchair
prior to.
Exactly. He was an injured military man of some sort. I forget the exact.
Second worst fall he's taken then.
Yeah. I don't know how he got injured to begin with, but he said something hung up. He cut away, and I think he hit it like 12 miles an hour or something like that in his wheelchair.
That tickled.
Yeah. So he was he lived to tell about it. And
yeah,
he's gonna go again.
I think he had like a compound fracture, like his femur came through his.
Yeah, you might be right.
I think it was pretty gnarly.
I don't remember the specifics.
Man, that could have been very painful. I guess like one time you're like, kind of glad I like feeling down there.
Yeah. He says he's going to do it again. That's the only thing that really.
Well, statistically, skydiving's pretty safe, and you got that one out of the way. So
yeah, technically, as long as you're not the one packing the chute, maybe, and making that mistake, or I don't know, it could have been,
Sometimes things just happen.
Yeah.
There are variables out there you can control. I mean,
I was wondering how he's jumping with a wheelchair, and they were really critical of my form. When they taught me how to jump,
right?
Like you got to get in your stomach, hips out, feet back, arms up. And this guy's jumping out of a wheelchair. Like, what's the difference?
Yeah,
I mean, there is a difference, obviously. But he doesn't have control over that drag and here and there. So how?
I wonder if he had some sort of pilot chute, some sort of drogue chute that stabilized him or something.
Yeah.
Can you imagine though if you just happen to be like you don't know what's going on? You're like down like water in your yard, and there's a dude falling from the sky in a wheelchair.
That would throw you off.
like there's too much to compute right there.
You know, some of those farmers and neighbors are used to seeing a random parachuter come into their yard, but
then you just hear.
but he's like, but this one's falling at 12 fast in a wheelchair.
Oof. Man, that's tough. I will say, every time I've ever jumped, I was younger and haven't done it in a long time, but you know, you don't really like whatever. It's cool, like doing it, but there is that moment you're like, this could be it.
Yeah,
this could be it.
Yeah,
but I'm gonna throw myself out anyway.
Yeah.
At 38, it's a little bit. I got like wife and kids and stuff now. I'm kind of like, because I want to go do it again, but I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's been a while for me. A few years, 4 years maybe.
I haven't done it since like 2004 or 5. So
I kind of got my fill.
Yeah, I'd like
to
go.
If I never went again, I'd be okay.
I was in the middle of getting my license and life happened. I couldn't finish it. I'd kind of like to go get it.
Every time I'd gone, it's the same fear though. Like that. Oof. I don't like doing it. I'm not gonna lie. I don't like jumping out of the plane.
You like the free fall?
I love the free fall and
yeah.
the feel of it, but like the climb up is just nauseating.
Butterflies.
It's,
yeah,
it's
100%.
It's nothing but like just chest, vibrating from nerves.
Yeah, I was my very first jump. I went tandem, and I was the last out of the plane, and watching all the jumpers jump before you. I was kind of like, oh, okay, here it is. And I got to the door, and I was thinking, I don't know. And then you're kind of not in control. I mean, you're tandem,
Yep.
So the dude goes out. And once I was out, it's fine because you're committed. Then there's no reason to worry about it.
Having a dude force you off is the way to go.
Yeah.
Because I don't think I could do it by myself.
You've never done it solo?
No.
It steps it up.
Yeah, I can imagine. I'm not sure if I want to.
It's good. The first, I think I've got 7 jumps total, to include my tandem. So I've got like 6 solo jumps. The first like 2 or 3, you literally go out with 2 instructors holding on to you.
Yeah.
And they never let go
Right.
until you wave them off. And then,
then that's when the really, you got to be on your stuff when that first one opens. If you have to cut away, you have to do something that you're not well trained to do.
Yeah, well, and that's funny because when they were giving me the ground school, we really focused on the mishap part because I was like, look, I'm a military dude, right? Like lowest common denominator, I can only do one thing at one good time, right? Yeah. So let's really focus on this. And I felt pretty confident. I knew how to my remedial actions there, but yeah, I don't know, man. It steps it up a little bit. The last couple of jumps that I had, you went out with one instructor. And he wasn't holding on to you, but he was right there with you, flowing. He was watching your body position and stuff. He was giving you signals, turn right, turn left, all that. And it's not so much at that point. I wasn't nervous with jumping. It was the packing the chute.
Yeah,
that was nerve wracking.
You gotta do it
me.
correctly.
Yeah.
And I've packed those little chute. Remember those parachute toys you used to get?
Yes.
That had a parachute and crappy little strings, and I'd pack those chute, throw them up in the air, and they'd always just come crashing down.
And you're like, oh.
I was like, man, why don't these things work well?
Yeah.
That just doesn't sit well with me when I pack my own chute.
Yeah, man. It's not even really. There's probably, if one of our listeners happens to be a jumper, they're probably cringing at this, but it's not even really so much like the fold in the canopy. It's like, just don't get your lines all crossed and stuff, Yeah. So you can pretty much just shove it in there however you want, but those lines, man.
Yeah. Then you got to guide it too. You got to drive that thing with the loops, and I think it's set up to where if you don't do anything, it'll come down. Like if you never touch the controls with your hands, let's say you got knocked out.
Yeah.
It would just parachute you somewhat slowly down.
It's not going to
go
be
a long way away.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to control where you go, and it's not going to be a comfortable landing. It'll be a very survivable landing.
Right.
But that was always the part that was really nerve-wracking for me because I was getting concerned, and I never, like I said, life happened and I had to stop. But we had a helmet with a speaker, and there was a guy on the ground, and he'd say, "Okay, left turn,
that's cool.
left turn," and I didn't pay attention a lot. I paid attention to him speaking to me, and I always landed where I was supposed to. But I was always a little nervous. Like, when they take this helmet away, I got to do this on my own.
Yeah.
So you're calibrating your eye, okay, and you're looking at your altimeter. I'm 1,000 feet. I need to turn left here. And, there's a lot going on.
Yeah.
So.
My tandem guy let me drive it, and I just don't like it.
Yeah.
I don't like. He did the spins. I was like, no, you don't have to do that. I'm
enjoy the ride.
Totally cool with it.
Yeah. But you also did a aerobatic plane ride, didn't you?
I did do that.
How was that?
That was awesome.
Was it?
Yeah, that was pretty freaking cool. It was a little Pitts something or other.
Yeah.
This dude took me out for 20 minutes or so and did, loops and corkscrews and the straight up, I guess, engine stall hammerhead style flips and outside loops, and it was nuts.
That's cool.
Pulled some G's on that
throw
thing.
up?
No. No, I didn't. I remember I had a few drinks the night before and I wasn't feeling perfect.
Yeah.
But the outside loop almost got me.
You're like, oh.
Like it was, I could look down and see the ground, like
Uh-huh.
through the plane. And he gave me a parachute. I was wearing a parachute.
That'll make you feel a little weird.
And he said, if something happens, I'm jumping out first, and then you jump out. And he gave me, he had a thing across my chest, and he said, just pull this. I was like, okay, all right, here we go.
That's my safety briefing?
Do better.
Yeah, yeah.
So and it was cool because when he walked it out, the plane when you're sitting down low, you have
tail
to
dragger.
What's it called?
Well, I don't know what that's called, but you can't see because
is that tacking? It's in boats. It's tacking, but I forget what it's called. There's an aviation term.
As a tail dragger, you have to do that because you can't see out of the front of the plane. Yeah.
Exactly. It was pretty neat. We flew out of Air Country.
Yeah, in McKinney off of 380.
Yeah.
Virginia.
Yep.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah, it was pretty neat. We flew over Salina.
Oh, nice.
So he flew up to Salina, cleared the air for us to do acrobatics, and then he went nuts.
And got after it, huh?
It's cool because I got a video of it, and he's very comfortable sitting right behind me, and you can see him keeping his eye on the horizon or whatever they're taught to do.
Yeah.
But damn, I don't know how they keep it together.
Yeah. With Simone Biles quit during the Olympics because they said she said she got the twisties or whatever. It's like I kind of understand that up there, doing that. Like
No
how do you keep yourself centered?
Yeah. I wrap pallets up with saran wrap, and when I go in circles, I just lose it after about 3. So I don't know if my head's getting worse as I get older or what, but loops don't do what they used to.
Now, so we were talking in the episode previous to this about my buddy that's a retired F-16 and Southwest pilot, and then he built his own like RV-6, which is an experimental home-built aircraft. And it's fast and it's aerobatic, and he took me up. And I'm not super like motion sickness, like whatever, it's fine. But we were flying around, and then we did a couple rolls and stuff, and I was kind of like, ooh, like it wasn't mission critical. I wasn't going to puke, but I was kind of like, I feel it, So
your dad told me a story about a couple guys, and whether this is true or not, I don't know, that were ferrying a plane from, let's say, DFW to Tulsa.
Yeah, I
I
believe he was telling it as it was true.
Yeah, you know the story?
Yeah.
Yeah, supposedly these guys took a commercial craft and...
It's like a 707.
Yeah, like barrel rolled it.
Yeah. See, I told you could do it.
Yeah, just keep the... I guess they didn't keep the positive G's and the toilets on...
That's how they got caught.
Yeah.
So, can you imagine?
Yeah, good. I want to... He did tell it as if it's true, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I'd like to get confirmation on that.
Yeah, we should. We should. There might be some listener out there going,
oh, yeah, that was me.
Yeah. Oh. Well, what do you got coming up? I got a birthday like
you do
2 weeks from now.
That's true. Any plans for it?
I don't know. Maybe we should repeat last year's birthday.
Go golfing?
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
Yeah.
In the Austin?
Yeah, maybe.
Rainy Street.
Rainy Street.
I've been missing Rainy Street.
I wish COVID would go away so we could get them lobster rolls again.
Yeah.
So good. That's all I got coming up. I'm going to Arizona next week.
Cool. What part?
I'm flying into Phoenix and driving up to Flagstaff.
Cool.
I'll be there for a couple days.
Military?
No, I'm going to run a trail race.
Ah.
Yeah.
Is it shorter than 100 miles?
No.
Damn.
Yeah. I mean, the distance I'm going to cover is going to be shorter than 100 miles.
Okay.
But the race is a 100-mile race.
What's it called?
I think it's called Stagecoach. It's Flagstaff to Grand Canyon, the Stagecoach 100.
Cool.
Yeah. So.
Do I need to make you a shirt called the Stagecoach 20?
Maybe the Stagecoach 3.
Well, you're probably more flat ground, I would assume. Less elevation change.
It's nothing like Never Summer was, but it's like the first marathon distance, so the first 25, 26 miles is kind of uphill, but gradually.
Yeah.
And then the last 75 is downhill. So theoretically, I'm going to go further.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. I'm kind of wishing I wouldn't.
So you got thicker air, more dry air, probably.
Yeah, it's going to be cool. It's going to be nice.
Cool.
Yeah. It would have been cool at Never Summer, hence the name Never Summer, but Colorado was under a heat wave, and it was like 80 degrees even at 10,000 feet. It's crazy. Yeah. It was nice, though.
That's hot.
Yeah, it's stupid. I kind of wish I wouldn't have signed up for this race now, but whatever.
Be all right.
I'm going to go do it.
Just do it.
We'll see.
Give it your best effort.
Yeah.
Train a little bit.
I will next time.
Go out there a week early to get used to the elevation.
Yeah, I tried that. Didn't work. Didn't work. Apparently, you need to live there.
Yeah.
There were even people at Never Summer that were dropping out because of elevation that lived in Denver.
Oh, wow.
They were like, yeah, this is crazy. Dude, it was nuts. The elevation change at Never Summer, the first couple, I guess we haven't done a podcast since then.
Yeah,
Wow. So, yeah.
We got 2 this week.
Yeah, we got Whiskey Girl next week.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, and Joseph Solomon of Kayaking for a Cause.
That's right. Yeah, no, that's good. But anyway, so I went up there to Never Summer to throw my hand at the Never Summer 100K, so 64 miles.
Cool.
But it had more elevation gain and loss than Mount Everest.
Wow.
Yeah, it was like 28,000 feet or something.
Close to 30.
Yeah, and it starts out at 8,500 feet, and the first 2 or 3 miles was runnable, but then the next 6 miles took you up to 11.5. And dude, I could not breathe. But it was a gorgeous course. I made it 19 miles before I missed a cutoff because I was just running too slow because of the altitude, and they pulled me from the course. But I've never been so happy to be pulled from a race. So happy to fail right now, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When failing means water in a bed.
Yeah, exactly.
That's not too bad.
No, I somehow got a text message out because service was really bad. Ashley was able to come get me, and I went back. I had because we started at 5:30 that morning, and by the time I got done with the race and back to my hotel, it was 1 and 2 of the afternoon or something. So I took a shower, took a little bit of a nap, went and had dinner, and I was like, wonder how John's doing, my buddy that was running the race. And I looked, and he was still in it. And I was like, oh man, I've had a nap, a shower, I've eaten,
watched a couple episodes or something.
Yeah. So I set an alarm for 3:30 in the morning because it's a 30-minute drive from my hotel to the start finish line, and drove back there. Got there at 4, and he had just crossed the line. He had been running for 22 hours or something. Yeah, it was terrible.
So I thought about you the other day. I buy a lot of stuff on Uline boxes and bubble wrap and things. Well, whenever you buy something on this website, they give you a free gift. The price point at which I bought at, they have new free gifts, which is kind of nice because I've run through a bunch of the free things.
Sure.
And I'm I don't want 2 of that necessarily. But they added trekking poles.
Oh, man.
I almost picked out the trekking poles, except I'm not much of a trekker.
Yeah.
But next time, if I have, it comes down to it, I'll.
Well, what's funny is I bought trekking poles for this race and then decided I wasn't going to use them. And then, I was heading out the hotel room, and I was like, I'm going to grab them. And I'm so thankful.
Yeah, I bet.
Because some of that stuff was steep, and I had to have something to lean on.
Yeah.
While I was rested. Yeah, it was miserable, dude. Sometimes it's good to seek suffering, though. Yeah. You got to suffer sometimes.
Yeah.
So we live a relatively easy life. So
That's
sometimes
true.
you got to go put yourself in uncomfortable situations.
It's good for you.
I think so.
Mental resolve.
Kind of hurt your feelings a little sometimes, but it's all right.
Yeah.
So.
It's mid-September, coming into October. Fannin County Fair is coming up, and I think we're going to get some folks from the Fannin County Fair to come on the show.
Awesome.
And talk to us about that.
We definitely should.
They're running it through their meetings or whatever. I think they have one this week.
Yeah.
But they're going to send somebody down here to talk to us about what's going on there. They've got a lot of cool stuff. Didn't have it last year, so I think they're expecting a big turnout similar to that of what we saw here at the Leonard Picnic.
Man, that'd be good.
Yeah.
That'd be good. I'd like to go.
Yeah, I've actually never been to the Fannin County Fair. I hate to say that, but not been to the Hunt County Fair.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah,
Hopefully
we'll
they
see
send some folks soon. We'll get some information out to you. Otherwise, go look it up on their Facebook.
Absolutely.
That's
about all I got.
Yeah. God bless those 9/11 victims, families, first responders.
Yeah, man. I
Speak to it, James. You're a better speaker than I.
I don't know about that. I will say there was a momentous occasion that happened 20 years ago today that irreversibly changed the course of American history, and in so doing, a lot of people suffered because of it in many different ways, whether it was people who were in the towers, first responders, people in the military that deployed multiple times. There's been, I think there were like 3,000 Americans died on 9/11 or whatever, something like that. But there's been many, many more that have suffered because of it. So, whatever's going on politically and whatnot, I think it's important to remember that those folks and the people who are the second and third order effects from there, and to take some time out today, and once a year to kind of think about that, meditate on that a little bit,
Yep.
And thank God that it wasn't me or my family that had to deal with that,
Yep.
So that's my thoughts.
Watch that footage, learn from it,
Yeah.
You learn all these different perspectives, and there's so many documentaries that come out, and you see new footage every time you watch something, and every time I watch something, I see something different. I'm like, I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
Or holy, that happened, and no clue. All these things that it's not just two buildings and a Pentagon and a plane in a field.
No,
It's
no.
so much bigger, and all the people on those flights and the fight they put up and all that.
Yeah,
We're
that
talking
was
about Todd Beamer
that was the
and his crew.
those four, instances or whatever. That was the proverbial rock thrown into the water, and the ripple effect after that was just momentous, I guess.
Yep.
So
9/11, never forget.
Never forget.
And we will let you go on that.
Yep. Have a good one, everybody.
Bye-bye.